We thank you so much for watching Law School Made Easy at Law School Made Easy 256. We ask you to subscribe, to share, and also like our videos. I want to take you through a quick one. Amin's regime, Amin's militant regime from 1971 to 1979. We are going to appreciate Amin, how he came to power, what he promised people, reasons why he came to power, and then his immediate overturn from the reasons which had brought him to power. Okay, now in 1971, the president then, Apollo Milton Obote, had appointed Amin as the deputy army commander at the time. Actually, now he was the army commander at the time. So, Obote had gone for a Commonwealth meeting that had been held in Singapore. Now, while Obote was in Singapore, Amin invaded Entebbe airport, arrested everybody there, took over Entebbe airport, went to Radio 1, went to Radio Uganda. UTV was surrounded and declared that they had taken over power through a coup, and now Idi Amin Dada had become the president of Uganda. So while Obote was in the conference, one of the British people told him, the chairman of the committee said, some of you are going to go back when you are not presidents. So Obote thought it was a joke, but later Obote got to know that Idi Amin Dada had overthrown him through a coup d'etat, and Amin had become the president of Uganda, and Obote never even tempered to come back at the time. Amin, to win this, he used Israel because he had a relationship with Israel, and he was able to succeed on sending away Obote. But on coming to power, Amin gave 18 reasons why he toppled the government of Obote at the time. Amin is remembered for having said that. Remember in 1966, the Kawaka crisis, Obote had declared a state of emergency, which had lasted for over 5 years. So one of the reasons Amin gave, Amin said that Obote had declared a state of emergency, which had lasted for almost 5 years. This was not acceptable. And this is one of the reasons Amin is giving for toppling the government of Obote. Amin further says that there was gross disrespect of human rights, that Obote had gravely, violated human rights. And to Amin, this was dangerous because human rights are fundamental. Amin further cited gross areas of nepotism in Obote's government, tribalism, arrests without detention. Amin is remembered for having said that Obote had made the government to be that one of Langese, a lot of tribalism and sectarism. Okay. So, having stated 18 reasons why Obote was supposed to be removed, Amin now came to power. In the early days, everybody, especially in Uganda, people were very happy with the coming of Amin. And one of the first things Amin did was to return the body of Sir Edward Mutesa, who had died in Europe, but Obote had refused his body to come back. So Amin allowed the body of Sir Edward Mutesa to come back and be buried. This one caused a lot of happiness to the Baganda. and a lot of jubilation in Buganda region. And everybody, the Baganda, clearly welcomed the era, the reign of Idi Amin Dada, which later turned to be a gross and serious reign of terror. Amin did not stop on bringing back the body of Saidu and Mutesa. Amin further released all political prisoners at the time. Remember the case of Grace Ibingira, where Ibingira was arrested. The Rugumayos of this world, they were all arrested, detained without trial during the reign of Obote. Beni Chwanuka. At the time, Beni Chwanuka was also arrested. Okay. Now, Abu Mayanja had been arrested. Remember, Abu Mayanja is the one who said he would not cut off his ear until when Mutesa is brought back. Okay. So, Abu Mayanja was also arrested. So, Obote released released all these political prisoners. Now, after he released them, still jubilation was all over the area. But this lasted only for 1 year. Amin now turned. As he was taking over power, first he issued a legal notice, number 1 of 1971, which ushered him into power. Amin now came into power through that legal notice, which became a foundation for other legal notices which were formed at the time. For example, legal notice number 1 of 1979, which brought the UNLF in power, and also legal notice number 1 of 1986, which brought the NRM in power. So, his first legal notice clearly brought many other legal notices. Now, when discussing the area of Amin, we begin by the destruction of constitutionalism. At the time when Amin came to power, the 1967 constitution was the one which was in place, and it was doing well. So when Amin started issuing his decrees, he went and removed all these articles, and he became the law. Amin declared himself the fountain of honor, the law, the constitution, and all orders would actually come from Amin. So, he removed all these articles. Let's take an example. Let's take an example. Amin removed the Article 1, supremacy of the Constitution, and Amin became the law of the land, and was no longer subject to the Constitution. No one would control. So Article 1 of the 1967 Constitution, which talked about supremacy of the Constitution, Amin removed it, and he became the law himself. Article 3, which allowed the amendment of the Constitution, that there would be amendment in the Constitution. Amin abrogated all this, and he became the only person who is allowed to make and amend any law at the time. Article 63 powers to make laws. Article 63 of the Constitution 1967 allowed the Parliament to make laws. Now Amin removed it, and he ruled by decrees. It was Amin making the decrees. He changed all this when he came to power. Chapter 4 of the Constitution, which talked about the qualification and elections of executive and the president, was now to be designated of the head of state. Election of the executives and the president was now removed, and Amin was declared the head of state and in control of everything. And Amin throughout, he ruled by decrees. Amin ruled by decrees. Okay. Now, When he started, Amin issued a decree, legal notice number 14 of 1972, which abolished all political parties, all activities, funding, investing in any political activity. Amin stopped all this nonsense. He further went ahead and rejected all songs, slogans, symbols, all political party paraphernalias anywhere, that no political party was allowed to operate at the time. And this later explains the disappearance of the Chief Justice at the time, Ben Chwanuka. So Amin became a gross dictator. In 1972, he issued another decree when he said that, I dreamt when all Indians are not in this country. And he sent away all the Indians. He gave them 90 days. But whoever they found before even the elapse of 90 days, you would be arrested or killed. So at the time, all the Indians, this worsened the relationship between India and Uganda, between the Asian countries and Uganda. This further injured the economic trade that had existed between these people, because he expelled and exiled the people who were qualified, experienced in handling the factories and other economic activities, and replaced them with those that were inexperienced. Amin did not only stop on the Asian. In 75, he issued the land decree, where now land was vested in the government, and no one was supposed to own the land if you're not a foreigner, and you only own the land at a time space of 99 years or 49 years, lease land. But by doing this, he destructed many people. People had owned it, people lost their land. And now land, you would own land at the mercy of the government. Amin did not stop there. Amin usurped the roles, the rights, the responsibility of the judiciary. And Amin now became the law. And he would control. He would determine. Amin never stopped at that, colleagues. Amin introduced what we call detention without trial. For any activity that you did that was not accepted, they would arrest you, detain you without trial. He didn't stop there. He usurped the powers of the police to arrest, and he turned it into military. Now it was the military that would arrest civilians. Okay. He usurped the powers of the police, replaced that with the military. There was no single activity in this country where the military never got involved. So there was detention without trial that was reintroduced. People thought it had stopped on the era of Amin, of Obote, but all these things were reintroduced. Okay. So through those legal notices, the different legal notices that he had, for example, censorship of the place. Amin issued a decree number 35 of 1972 that prohibited the press from making, the newspaper and publications from making any news minus the consent of the minister. The minister would censor all this press. Okay. The detention decree is a decree number 1 of 1971. They arrest you without trial and you are taken to court in the courts. Okay. The powers of the police were also usurped. So that is how Amin controlled. And we now landed into a series of problems as a country. On his foreign policy, Amin attacked Tanzania, and this explains his downfall. Because later, Julius, when he said he would marry Julius Nyerere, later Julius led a team of the UNLF that came and took over power from Idi Amin Dada. So he had put Uganda into a lot of problems. However, other scholars argue that his government was a nationalist, he was patriotic, he had the country at heart, but that is not our bone of contention. But on a good day, we shall have time and discuss Amin in depth to understand what were the aim of these policies that he discussed. Now, this I must say about the era of Idi Amin Dada. When you are discussing, for us, when we ask you the question about Idi Amin Dada, we want those negativity. Get all the negative things he did and you explain them very well, and then you'll be able to get all your marks. We thank you so much for watching Law School Made Easy at Law School Made Easy 256. Subscribe, share, like our videos. Until next time, thank you.